Welcome on in, guys. Tobin here with you. And thanks for stopping by. I for the ones that are still sticking around, I can't thank you enough because I can't believe what we're going through this season, man. I genuinely am like, this is like punishment. It is really, it's a marvel to myself, and I'm sure fans feel this way. We tune in to watch this team. You know, we love the basketball so much, and you're hoping like hope. I'm trying to listen to Eric Spoelstra, who's just spinning bullshit every game with this whole, there's a lot of stuff that's positive that's happening. Ooh. But, dude, it's the worst Heat fourth quarter team I can ever remember because they just never, ever feel like they're going to pull it through. And tonight, it was a roller coaster of a game. It had some major downs and then some big pop-ups from Miami, some big swings. But, at the end of the day, when Miami got down 5 and then cut it to 3, you had 3 chances to put this puppy back tied up. And you got 3 good looks at 3. And the cheeks got tight. Eat. Did they make them? No. Excellent game from Bam Adebayo today. But, and I'm not talking about the last look, that crazy heave. But when he had a look, no. When Hero had a look, nope. When Duncan had a wide open look, down 5 at that time to try and bring it back in, nope. Now, he did a crazy-ass heave to give Miami one last chance, which was apropos of the night. Duncan Robinson hits a 3 with like 3 seconds left. Haywood Highsmith is able to get a deflection off of Anthony Edwards. That questionable call on the possession, but there was no challenge. So it stuck with the Heat. Heat get an inbounds, but no timeout. They have to pass it into Bam Adebayo. He heaves up a 3 and ends up by the shot clock. He's complaining about a foul. It kind of felt to me like maybe the referees knew that maybe they blew a call. They weren't going to give him one. So that's as good a look as you're going to get either way. You know, I understand him being upset in that situation. You know, Randle's kind of in his landing spot, but, you know, it's also, it's tough. You know, you put yourself in that position. So, I don't know, dude. I'm flummoxed from this season. You know, it's been a year that's really tested your resolve as a fan and this fan base. It really has. Woo! Tequila. That's a Friday right there. Woo! It tastes like I have dragon's breath now. Oh, man. But, yeah, let's take a little looky-loo at this game. It was wild because, like, every quarter was pretty damn even throughout the entirety of this affair. We were even at halftime. We were even after 3. But there were times where it looked like it was going to get away from Miami, and then, you know, credit to Miami, they would come back in. You know, the game starts off. Pelle Larsson, things that were interesting. Pelle Larsson got his first start at home of the season. Another game, no Andrew Wiggins, no Khalil Ware, no Alec Burks, who had been getting some starts, and no Nico Jovic. Jaime Jaquez and Tyler Hero were available. And Miami gets into this thing. Pelle Larsson starts off the game with an and one on and, which was like, oh, that was pretty impressive by the Swedish rookie. But he did not have a strong shooting night tonight. The rookie did take his lumps, but I'm okay. I appreciate, out of all of it, at least I'm appreciative he is playing, to be honest with you. I'm like, all right, he couldn't hit the broadside of a barn from 3 tonight, but we're trying something, baby. Davion Mitchell would hit a corner 3 from Bam Adebayo. It would be tied at 20, and then the Wolves kind of took off, courtesy of Dante DiVincenzo. He was hitting some big-time threes. They closed the quarter on a 13-5 run, I think. They were 7 of 13 from downtown. And you're like, oof, this is not going fantastic. And get to the second quarter, it is it was really one of these things where it took Miami to get going in this, but we get to a point where Alexander Walker gets a bucket, and then Jalen Clark got a steal and score. And they're really bullying Miami defensively and supposed to call a timeout. It's 40-29, and Tyler Hero just didn't look right. He was dealing with the head cold. But then, sure enough, after this timeout, Duncan and Mike Conley exchange 3 balls, and then Tyler comes in, boom, hits a 3 after a Haywood Highsmith 3 ball. Then Hero gets it to Haywood for a 3 ball, and Miami was boom, right back in this thing, 43-38. Wolves call a timeout. Dante DiVincenzo comes out firing. And then Bam really, really gets going. Hits a jumper, gets a huge and one where he's got 3 Wolves around him. Tyler Hero then gets a strip from Jaden McDaniels down to Pelle Larsson, and Miami makes this run all the way back. It's 49-48. They exchange leads. Tyler Hero hits a 3 ball to make it 52-50. Naz Reid would tie it up at 52 apiece. Really wild exchange at the half. But Bam was having a monster performance. 15 points, 9 rebounds. Tyler Hero had 10 points. Duncan Robinson had 8. Minnesota was kind of spreading their scoring all the way around. Ant-Man had not quite gotten going. But it was a very even game to that point after it looked like the Wolves had really taken over. And that would not be the last time that it seemed like we were at this point this game. Third quarter, something very strange happens. And I'm not listening to the postgame tonight. Don't have it in me, so I don't know what went on with this whole situation. But Ant-Man doesn't start the half on the floor for the Wolves. I don't know what happened there to him health-wise, but he was not good to go. And so he got an opportunity here, which they really don't take advantage of. They get 5 minutes of no Anthony Edwards there in the first half, in the second half, in the third quarter, excuse me. And it's one of these where Miami is trying to stick in this thing. The Wolves go on a 9-0 run. Spo calls a timeout. The third quarter starts on an 11-3 run in total. And then Ant comes back off the bench. Now, Hero comes out of the timeout. He and Mike Conley trade threes. Then Bam, he gets a bucket from Hero. And then Bam is followed by Naz Reid. He gets up to 20 and 10. Very strong night from Bam Adebayo. Very, very strong night from Bam Adebayo. Had 20 and 10 midway through the third quarter. Anthony Edwards comes in. DiVincenzo starts getting going, and the Heat call timeout down 11 after DiVincenzo hits a 3 ball right after Pelle Larsson and Hero missed theirs. So it's starting to look again like the Heat are on shaky legs, 73-62. And then probably the exchange of the game. It was crazy. Bam hits a contested 3. Duncan Robinson then gets a steal and hits a 3 ball. Then Tyler steals it, gets it to Bam for the slam. Miami's right back in it. 8-0 run in mere seconds. And it's 73-70 Minnesota. They have to call a timeout. It was bananas. I'm like, what the hell just happened here? They're boom, flipped on a dime. It was crazy. Then Haywood Highsmith starts doing Haywood Highsmith things, which is basically, I'm everywhere there is. I'm in here getting loose balls and making things happen. And, it was either him just getting a steal and a slam or just getting a loose ball leading to a bucket. Just those classic in-between stuff from Haywood Highsmith. Miami ends up on an 18-4 run to get the lead, 80-77. Nickeil Alexander-Walker would hit a 3 ball to tie it, 80 apiece. So it was 28-28 in that third quarter. Really, really fun, wild exchange. Yet again, it was exciting. Bam, after 3, would finish with 25 points, 10 rebounds. Tyler Hero had 17. Haywood Highsmith and Duncan Robinson would combine for 20. And so the fourth quarter we go. And Terry Rozier is there to start with Jaime Jaquez. They both get buckets to start. Bam setting both of them up. Bam was really doing a great job of setting his players up and getting guys in the right place. He had a setup to Jaime, set up to Terry Rozier for a 3-ball. Terry hits the 3-ball, and Eric Reed's reaction to it was, bless his heart. And I was like, what? Bless his heart. I'm just like, Eric Reed's taking pity on him. Like, bless his heart, Terry Rozier. And Eric Reed's a kind man. It's his, it's the home broadcast, of course. But I just thought that was funny. It wasn't even just like, way to go, Terry. It wasn't kaboom. It was bless his heart. And I was just like, sure, okay. Bam then gets Duncan Robinson on a cut, gets him to the free throw line. He hits 1 of 2. Miami's up 3. And then, Miami gets off to a good start in the fourth quarter. You got Kyle Anderson in there. Bam's got to sit for like a brief moment. And Tyler Hero hits this wild-ass circus shot from Kyle Anderson where it's like off the glass and the foul. And you're just like, holy crap, what the hell was that? Very impressive by Boy Wonder. That's the thing that I think is crazy with this game, right? Because I'm looking at it, I'm just like, man, for the Heat to hit shots like they did today in this game, like the Hero shot, the Bam 3, and then to see the looks that they got at the end and they just couldn't nail it. I'm not accusing anybody of choking, but it's tough not to feel like the Heat had like they're trying to will it in with the old 3-ball, man. It's tough not to feel like that. It really is. But anyway, Terry Rozier would get his second bucket, so he had 5 points in the third quarter. Then Nickeil Alexander-Walker would hit a 3 over him, would tie it up. The Wolves defense would then clamp down on the Heat. Randle, though, would blow a layup. Anthony Edwards gives Minnesota the lead 95-92. Tyler Hero answers right back, ties it at 95. Naz Reid then hits a 3-ball, and then this is kind of where the Wolves put it in their bag to take control of the game. Game's back in their control. Hero goes too strong on a runner. There's about 4 minutes left. Naz Reid gets by Bam. Puts him up 5. Spo calls timeout. It's an 11-3 Wolves run. He takes out Terry. He goes Hero, Duncan, Davion, Haywood, Bam. Bam then gets a couple of buckets right in a row. After another fourth quarter, it's like we got to get the guy who's cooking involved. And the Heat get a couple of good possessions to get themselves back into it. So Bam gets a bucket, makes it a 3-point game. Then the Heat are able to force a 24-second violation. Couple possessions later, Bam gets a bucket over DiVincenzo. It's 102-99. Then Naz Reid, he's short on Bam. 2 minutes left in the game. This is where the Heat have their opportunity. They get 3 cracks at it. Bam misses a 3-ball. Ant comes back. He misses a 3-ball. Too strong over Bam. There's a minute 38 left. Tyler Hero gets a good look from deep. It wasn't even close. It was on the move, but he was open. Like he had a look. Not even in the zip code, dude. And then Jaden McDaniels on their side gets a big putback after Randle keeps it alive. It was another thing that was frustrating. Some big offensive rebounds by the Minnesota Timberwolves late. Duncan Robinson misses a wide open 3. Come back. Tyler Hero has another chance at a 3. Can't make it. They give up another offensive rebound. And you're just like, this puppy's cooked. This puppy's cooked. It is 106-101. Duncan Robinson hits this impossible 3 to bring it to within 2. Told you about the end of game exchange what happened. So that was your game. It was a very even game. I mean, the Wolves have a much better record than the Heat. They got one of the best players on the planet, even though tonight was not like the greatest game from Anthony Edwards. He finished today with 13 points. He was 4 of 10. Obviously was dealing with something that kept him delayed from going, unless it was, he was on the throne, but he did not have a very impressive game tonight. But it just matters. Like, it doesn't seem to matter what style of game it is. The Heat have had a pretty good defense. You held them to 106. That's under even the average of what the Heat do as a top 10 defense. But they just don't have enough firepower. And when they do, when they need clutch buckets or to come through, they just can't. And I'm just sorry, man. You're falling on deaf ears with everybody who's like, we're going to break through. We're going to break through. There's a lot of positive stuff happening. The games, yeah, we know. But like, at what point are you guys going to stop torturing yourselves and your fans with these games that are close, within your grasp, but the lack of execution, the lack of nuts, the lack of cajones to come through, the lack of onions, stones, cantaloupes, whatever you want to put, balls on this team is infuriating, because it felt like today, like, hey, you were going shot for shot, crazy execution, but when it got squeaky there at the end, take control of the game again? No, you couldn't. You couldn't. And it's become just this recurring theme of the season. Back to 4 games under 500. So they got the Bulls tomorrow night. And you're really just stuck in purgatory right now, because even for the guys and gals out there who want to tank, like, I suppose it's not impossible now, but you got the Bulls and the Hornets coming up. I doubt they lose both of those. I mean, if they lose those two, then you could be like, hey, you're off to the races. Then you got the Clippers and the Celtics if you want to start playing for ping pong balls. But yeah, the thing with today was, like, I can't even say it was a bad game for Miami. It was fine. But you like, I would think for the most hardcore fans who are watching every single night, putting their support on it. They don't want to hear shit about tanking. They don't want to hear anything about Cooper Flag. They're still riding Heat culture through and through. Can these guys come through once? Can they come through one time in a big game? Okay? Not like all the way at the end with, like, the Magic. Not like all the way at the end with, I don't know, the Pacers. Like, you got these games against, all right, the Wolves, who they didn't even have Rudy Gobert today, but, like, they're pretty formidable. That's a good team. That's plenty of games over 500. Like, go show something. But it's like, can they do it against the Knicks late? No. Can you do it against the Cavs late? No. Can you do it against Milwaukee late? No. Be close. Close, but no cigar. And then I got to hear Spo afterwards, who's like, there's a lot of positive things happening. And I'm like, yeah, but you want to know what all the positive things are? Leading to a tragic letdown that makes you almost feel worse than if no good things were happening. Do you know how much more painful it is that when you lead up the expectations and then the rug is pulled out from under you, it hurts a lot more than when you just are rejected flat out. It feels like the Heat are catfishing you. It's like they're sitting here and they're like, oh yeah, I like your stuff, I like your style. Want to go out for a date? Never mind. I live in Antarctica. It's like, oh, great, dude. All right, cool. Heat fishing you. That's what they're doing. I don't know. It's one of these things where, like, my anger was much higher after the Cavs game because I felt they lost that one for the wrong reasons. It's kind of just this dulling disappointment right now. Not with the team. It's not even like I'm not even doing this. And people ask, they're like, oh, like, why do you even get mad, Tobin? Like, this season's going nowhere. I agree. I know it's going nowhere, but that's not the point. Like, I'm not even the team right now is what it is. And I want to see the players out there try and execute and get through. And there's just no doing it with this team, and what's the lone thing you can take solace in? That Bam is been a monster the last month plus? All right, cool. Tyler here at an all-star season. All right, awesome. But as a cohesive team bringing these things over the finish line, they can't do it. And that's with like these crazy flurries where like you see the Heat, or you're like, oh, I recognize that team. That's the team that plays in the margins. Look at that 18-3 run back in this game, back on the lead. Buildings jumping. So it's at a point you just get exhausted with it. So for everybody who's sticking with us and sticking through this, man, I want one of those because obviously like we want one of those that's going to stick through. And like, you know, this past week has been from Sunday to Saturday so far, where we got the Bulls game coming up. You've had a Knicks loss in overtime, absolutely crushing. You beat a team that's impossible to lose to in the Wizards, which was a cool night because Bam Goosey's galore. You showed some stones going on the road in Cleveland, and you played really well. Not a game you were expected to win, but a game you could have won, and you didn't. And then today, it's like another one where it's like you played. It was a very even. I would say these teams are pretty even tonight. Good back and forth. Yeah, you didn't have everybody. Neither did they. And when you needed the big plays and to really take control of the game, all that good stuff, all of it, thing that led you to that point, just still short. And that's just been the story of the season. They are a dreadful fourth quarter team. They are dreadful at executing. They're dreadful at making the extra play. They can't do it. They could do it at times. They can have runs. They can flip games. But end of games, fourth quarters, I've never seen a team inept like this. Not a Heat team like this, where it's like they have an Achilles heel in a certain place, and it's at the end of the game, and they just find a way to fumble it in some way, shape, or form, one way or another. So, you know, the next two, it's like, yeah, okay, you better win. You go out there and you have a Bulls team that is, you know, which you lost to not that long ago, and a Hornets team that's basically trying to see if they can out tank the Wizards. Okay, yeah, you better win those two games. If you don't, I don't even know. I don't even know. I mean, I don't even know what my reaction will be at that point. But tonight is just kind of a bitter frustration. I'm just like, this legitimately has been the story of the year all year, and just feels like you're stuck in the twilight zone. It's like, I don't know what the plot is going to be of this, but I know it's going to end weird and painfully. Oh man.